The morning is not just a time of day, it is the very foundation upon which the rest of your day is built. How you begin your morning determines the trajectory of your thoughts, your actions, and ultimately your success. It is the first battle you fight each day, and how you engage in that battle sets the tone for everything that follows. When the alarm rings, it is not merely a signal to wake up, it is a summons to rise with purpose. The decision to open your eyes and step out of bed is a choice to embrace the day with intention or to succumb to the inertia of comfort. The bed, warm and inviting, calls you to remain, to delay, to procrastinate. But the call to purpose is louder, more insistent. It beckons you to rise, to move, to act. The first moments of your day are sacred. They are the canvas upon which you will paint the rest of your day. If you begin with chaos, with haste, with neglect, then the rest of your day will mirror that disorder. But if you begin with calm, with clarity, with purpose, then the rest of your day will unfold with intention. The morning is a time to center yourself, to align your mind and body with your goals and values. It is a time to establish habits that will serve you throughout the day. It is a time to prepare for the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. It is a time to set the tone for everything that follows, but setting the tone is not passive, it is active. It requires discipline, commitment, and consistency. It requires you to take control of your morning, to shape it according to your values and priorities. It requires you to make choices that reflect your commitment to excellence, to growth, to purpose. The choices you make in the morning are not trivial, they are foundational. They determine the quality of your thoughts, your actions, and your outcomes. They set the tone for your relationships, your work, and your well-being. They influence your mood, your energy, and your resilience. When you rise early, you gain a head start on the day. You create space for reflection, for planning, for growth. You set a tone of intentionality and purpose. You demonstrate to yourself that you are in control, that you are committed to your goals, that you are willing to do what it takes to succeed. But rising early is not enough. You must rise with purpose. You must engage in activities that align with your values and goals. You must cultivate habits that support your well-being and productivity. You must take actions that move you closer to your desired outcomes. The morning is a time to nourish your body, to fuel it with the nutrients and hydration it needs to function optimally. It is a time to engage in physical activity, to awaken your muscles and joints, to increase blood flow and energy. It is a time to care for your mind, to engage in practices that promote clarity, focus, and calm. It is a time to set intentions, to prioritize tasks, to plan your day. When you begin your day with intention, you create momentum that carries you through the rest of your day. You build confidence, resilience, and discipline. You develop habits that support your success. You set a tone of excellence, of purpose, of growth. But when you neglect your morning, when you allow it to slip by without purpose or intention, you set a tone of chaos, of disorganization, of mediocrity. You squander the opportunity to shape your day, to influence your outcomes, to live according to your values. The morning is a gift, a precious opportunity to set the tone for your day. How you choose to engage with that gift determines the quality of your day, your week, your life. Do not squander it. Do not allow it to slip by unnoticed. Embrace it with purpose, with intention, with commitment. The morning is a reflection of your values, your priorities, your commitment. It is a mirror that reflects your discipline, your focus, your resilience. It is a canvas upon which you paint the masterpiece of your day. When you rise with purpose, when you engage in intentional activities, when you set the tone for your day, you set the stage for success. You create a foundation upon which you can build your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. You set a tone of excellence, of growth, of purpose. But when you neglect your morning, when you allow it to slip by without purpose or intention, you set a tone of mediocrity, of complacency, of failure. You squander the opportunity to shape your day, your life, your future. The morning is a choice. It is a choice to rise with purpose, to engage with intention, to set the tone for your day. It is a choice to embrace discipline, to cultivate habits that support your success, to take actions that move you closer to your goals. Choose wisely. Choose to rise with purpose. Choose to set the tone for your day. Choose to live with intention. The morning is a gift. Do not squander it. Embrace it with purpose, with intention, with commitment. Set the tone for your day, your life, your future. Discipline is not something that comes easily. It is not something you stumble into, or something you suddenly wake up possessing. Discipline is forged through hardship. It is a choice you make every day when everything in you cries out for comfort, for ease, for escape. Discipline says no to what is easy so you can say yes to what is right. It demands sacrifice, self-denial, and an unwavering commitment to the things that matter most, even when you don't feel like it. And that is why discipline is the fuel for momentum. It is the fire that keeps the engine burning when inspiration fades, because inspiration is fleeting. It comes and goes with your emotions. It is unreliable. But discipline, when it is deep in your bones, does not wait for the perfect conditions. It shows up. It moves forward. It continues when motivation dies and the crowd is silent. When no one is watching, discipline keeps you going. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, but it is powerful. But discipline by itself is not enough. It must be paired with intentionality. Discipline without direction becomes routine. You can be disciplined in the wrong things. You can be busy all day and accomplish nothing that actually matters. That's why you must be intentional, not only in how you act, but in why you act. Intentionality is the compass that ensures your discipline is taking you where you truly want to go. Intentionality demands that you ask the hard questions. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? Is this taking me closer to the person I am supposed to become, or is it keeping me stagnant? You don't drift toward excellence. You don't accidentally become strong. You don't become effective by chance. These things are the result of intentional decisions made again and again, especially when it costs you. When you combine discipline and intentionality, you become unstoppable. Discipline gives you the consistency, and intentionality gives you the direction. One without the other is like trying to run without knowing where you're going, or knowing the way but refusing to walk it. But together, they generate a force that is impossible to ignore. Together, they create momentum, and momentum, real momentum, is a gift. It is not bought, it is not given freely, it is built day after day. Decision after decision, momentum is the result of stacking small wins. It doesn't start with huge achievements. It starts when you choose to get out of bed when you don't want to. It starts when you refuse to let the day dictate your pace. It starts when you shut out the noise of distraction and focus on the task that matters most. Each time you do that, you are gaining ground. You are building something within yourself that cannot be shaken by circumstances. Most people never build momentum because they never learn to overcome resistance. They want to feel ready. They want to wait until it's easier. But the truth is, resistance is the gate you have to pass through if you want to change. Momentum doesn't come to the passive. It comes to the warrior, the one who refuses to back down even when the odds are not in their favor. And you must understand, this is not about perfection. This is not about having every detail figured out. This is not about being flawless. It's about being faithful. It's about showing up again and again, not because it's easy, but because it's right. Momentum is not found in a single moment of greatness. It is built in 1,000 small decisions to do what needs to be done. You do not need more talent to move forward. You do not need a perfect plan. What you need is resolve. You need to decide that you will not be tossed by the winds of distraction and delay. You need to determine in your heart that you will pursue the path of discipline, that you will be intentional with your time, your energy, your focus. Look at your day. Look at your habits. What are you repeating every day? Because whatever you do repeatedly, that is who you are becoming. You can't build momentum by doing things occasionally. You build momentum by doing the right things consistently. The hard part is not starting something new. The hard part is continuing it when the newness wears off, when no one is clapping, when the excitement is gone. That is when momentum is either lost or built, and that is when discipline must step in. But not just any discipline, purposeful discipline, discipline that is married to vision, discipline that knows where it's going. That's where intentionality transforms your discipline from a burden into a weapon. When you know why you're saying no to distractions, when you understand what you're fighting for, then your discipline becomes powerful, not rigid, not lifeless, but alive with meaning. It is not enough to merely keep moving. You must be moving in the right direction. Some people spend their whole lives climbing a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. That is what happens when discipline is divorced from intentionality. You can be working hard and going nowhere. You can be productive and still be lost. That is why every single day must begin with clarity. What matters most today? What do I need to focus on? What must be accomplished, no matter what? Those questions are not asked by people who drift. They are asked by people who intend to dominate their day. They are asked by people who are not satisfied with average. People who understand that their time is finite and their purpose is too important to be wasted. You see, the problem is not that you don't have enough time. The problem is that your time is being stolen by distractions, wasted on meaningless activity, consumed by things that don't serve your mission. Discipline reclaims your time, intentionality directs it, and when you put those two forces together, you will accomplish more in a day than most accomplish in a week. And this isn't just about achieving goals. It's about becoming someone different. Discipline shapes character. Intentionality sharpens purpose. Together, they mold you into someone who can handle weight, who can carry responsibility, who can be trusted with greater things. That is why momentum matters, not just because it helps you get things done, but because it transforms you into someone who is worthy of doing them. But make no mistake, there will be resistance. You will be tempted to give up. You will hear voices telling you that it's not worth it, that you're not making progress, that it doesn't matter. Those voices are lies. You must shut them out with action. You must drown them in effort. Because momentum is louder than doubt. When you are moving, when you are progressing, when you are grounded in discipline and driven by intentionality, then the noise of self, doubt fades into the background. And here is the truth you need to hear. It doesn't get easier. You get stronger. Every single time you push through the pain, through the boredom, through the distraction, you are growing. You are building something invisible but undeniable. That is momentum. That is power. And it belongs to those who are willing to pay the price. If you want to change your life, stop waiting for it to feel right. Start doing what is right. Start building habits that move you forward. Start eliminating what is holding you back. Momentum is not accidental. It is earned. It is built through consistency, through commitment, through clarity. This is not about chasing success in the eyes of others. This is about becoming the kind of person who is not easily swayed, who does not fold under pressure, who is not led by feeling but by purpose. That kind of person is rare. That kind of person is needed. That kind of person can change the world, not because they are special, but because they are disciplined and intentional, and they refuse to quit. And when you become that kind of person, you don't just carry momentum. You create it. You walk into rooms and raise the standard. You influence others by your example. You inspire others not because you speak loudly, but because you live consistently. That is the power of discipline. That is the gift of intentionality, and that is how momentum becomes a lifestyle, not a moment.